Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's unbelievable episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and friends. And I am your host, of course, Mr. Boomstick. And we are going to kick off one of the most exciting Xbox weeks to come since December 12th, 2019, when Phil Spencer got up on stage and announced to the world that not only was the Xbox Series X the most powerful console, he showed what Hellblade looked on it, and this week we are going to be treated to a third-party and worldwide studios event on Thursday, May 7th, and we are going to be talking about everything Xbox on this show. But in order to do that, I needed a panel of what I like to consider podcast superstars, and I have just that. So let's get into the introductions. First up, our very special guest who wears a lot of masks, usually when he's on this show, and is not afraid to show himself on camera. Please welcome Wilmy Hood.
What is going on, Mr. Boom, Forte, Tempest, and Cyber? Glad to be here on another Monday night. Got a lot of stuff to cover, and I say let's do it.
Well, I appreciate you being here, dude. We almost didn't have Wilmy Hood thanks to a knucklehead who decided to run a red light at 60 miles or 70 miles an hour, crash into the power box, and probably kill himself and also all of the power in the neighborhood. But thankfully, he's here and his power is back. Next up, you know him as our resident assassin. He is someone that hates when I tell people that he will kill you online. But you know what? The truth is, of course, the truth. He is also our MMO know-it-all. Please welcome Tempest Son.
Hey, Boom. What's up, buddy? It's good to be here. And, oh, man, we got exciting stuff to talk about. And we got, oh, man, how many days ago was it now that Valhalla was introduced to us? I don't know, but ever since then, I've been on cloud nine. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So
yeah, well, listen, dude, it's going to be like I said, with everything going on in the world, it's so easy to be distracted with real life. And right now, I think that all of us, including everyone on this panel, everyone that's going to be listening live, and everyone that is hopefully going to check this show out after it goes up on YouTube, needs to kind of let your hair down, so to speak, and just talk about video games. And Xbox is going to bring that to you in spades. And Double Barrel Gaming will be carrying the Xbox in tow this entire week, because not only are we getting a post-show coverage, which is going to include an incredible panel of guests for Thursday's show right after the event closes down, and hopefully we'll be talking, up 2+ hours on that show. We do have a small little show, probably around 60 or 90 minutes tomorrow, where we're going to be doing our predictions for this big Microsoft third-party and worldwide studios event, and hopefully everyone that's going to be joining that panel will have something interesting to talk about. That show will be going live at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So if you have lunch at that time, we're going to be able to have you covered. So not only will you enjoy your ham and cheese sandwich, but you'll be able to sit down for an hour and a half and check out the show live. Now, next up, you know him as our resident Cape Crusader who got here in the nick of time, and he did break all speed limits in the Batmobile to be here on today's show. Please welcome Cybernox.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, chat? I do what I can to get here, okay? Don't judge me. I'm gonna be here. Exactly. Don't judge me, okay? I'm gonna be here because it's prime time gaming, and let's get on with the news because we got a lot of exciting to talk about. What's going on, everybody?
Well, thanks for being here as always, dude. The show would not be the same without you, and it's always great to have you a part of the panel. And last, and in no way least, our resident podcast professional who not only does 19 shows per week, but he also maintains an incredible and beautiful family and is our GameStop know-it-all and ear to the ground when it comes to when we can actually pre-order these consoles. Please welcome gaming forte.
What's up, guys, man? Chat, everybody out there, man. I feel like I worked 2 shifts and I didn't even work today at work. I was running around for family all day because the governor made essential products like being able to plant your flowers a thing. So my wife made me run to like 4 different places to get flowers, to get seeds. I swear to God, I've been running the gauntlet today because that's all essential, you know. So I appreciate being here. And speaking of some GameStop news, I know a lot of people are down on The Last of Us, but if you are one of those people that are going to pick that game up and you are thinking about getting a physical copy of it, that game will only be available anywhere you go for pre-order people only for the first 3 to 4 weeks.
Holy cow.
So if you want one unless you're buying it digitally, if you want a physical copy for the first 2 to 3 weeks, I hear that game will only be available for pre-order. So copy for the first 2 to 3 weeks. So get a copy because it look like it's going to be hard to find if you don't get a copy day one.
Well, you know,
I got a quick question about that, Forte, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm sorry. They did cancel everybody's pre-orders, though,
Sure
right?
did.
They did. Yes. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I know we're going to be talking about Xbox. I'm just going to throw this theory out here because you don't want to mention the word leak, and you certainly don't want to keep those words together because you're getting, content strikes. So it would, again, that's a topic for another show, not today's. It makes you wonder that due to the leak, Sony's hand was forced to get this game out, and that's why they're not. That's why they're going to be shortages in regards to the discs being pressed for physical. Obviously, digital is not going to be a problem. Physical discs are, but you know what? Let again. I don't want to take away from too much of what we're here to talk about. This show is dedicated to Team Green, and some people may like it, some people may not. Some people may love it. Some people may hate it. That's fine. Right now, if you are, of course, an Xbox fan and you are have been watching the bylines and the gaming media and listening to other podcasts, plenty of them on YouTube, there is no lacking in confidence when it comes to what Microsoft is doing. And in tow comes the confirmed May 7th event. But you know what's interesting is the major second and third party exclusives and marketing deals are going to be what rule the roost for this particular show. But we're actually not going to talk about that particular show because we're going to talk about, in what seemed to be not a big shocker to me, at least anyway, Geoff Keighley has been making the news once again. Now, he did a couple of months ago, I guess, shake up the industry or turn it on its head when he announced that he was, for the first time in his career at covering games, not attending E3. And he has announced that Summer Game Fest, which is this logo right here, is going to be something that's happening from May of 2020 all the way through August of 2020. And it's kicking off with the Microsoft event starting this Thursday. Now, he has teamed up with I Am 8-Bit to bring the gaming world new previews of announced and unannounced games from all of the major publishers and developers. And of course, that includes all of your favorite Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox games. They will all be represented in proper fashion, and all of the publishers, the EAs, the Bethesdas, everyone that you like, the Activisions, they're all going to be covered, and they're all chomping at the bit to get your attention because guess what? There's no E3. And now with the world that we're living in, they have to find new and interesting ways to involve the fan base. Now, a big part of Summer Game Fest will be playable content, according to Geoff Keighley, including some alphas, betas, and playable tests from many big AAA games coming out this fall. Now, there'll be playable content and maybe, just maybe, some very big surprises. Now, the question that many people right now, the near 200 that are already here, are asking is, what Xbox surprises will be saved for Summer Game Fest. And just how big will they be? Well, we could see the rumored Xbox Series S get a debut slot with Summer Game Fest. And I got to be honest with you, that's one of my picks. You got an early, peek into what I think is going to happen for this particular topic. I think that it would be absolutely fitting in the best way possible for Phil Spencer or someone from Microsoft to get out there with Geoff Keighley, put on some white gloves, and debut to the world the Xbox Series S the same way they did for the Game Awards run by Geoff Keighley on December 12th, 2019. Now, after reading through several articles concerning Summer Game Fest 2020, I came to a major conclusion that I want to discuss with not only the panel, but the outstanding 204 people in the chat. And here, let me break it down what I mean. This Thursday, May 7th, we're getting the third-party digital event, which is going to be huge. And it's going to be big because we're actually going to see games running in full glory on the Series X, along with some worldwide partner second-party exclusives. Now, what they are, I have no idea because I don't have connections that big. But I'm hearing there might be some sort of a Japanese studio exclusive, very similar to Bloodborne in scope and size, that could make its appearance there, but we'll see. Now, we're also going to follow that with the Xbox first-party rumored event for July. And now we have Summer Games Fest 2020, which runs for 4 months. Now, based on what we know, the sheer amount of content that Microsoft has in the pipeline and ready to go is rumored to be the most content the company has ever had ready to show gamers. And I for one, am busting at the seams to know more. There is one abundantly clear thing here. Phil Spencer and company, the team at Redmond, have come to the next generation to hashtag kick some ass and hashtag win. Now, here's my question for the panel as well as the 211 people already here in the live chat. With what we know about the multiple events, Microsoft has planned, how confident are you that everything that we've been asking for will be delivered in, of course, spades? Secondly, what are your personal hype levels going into these digital events, and what do you expect to be showcased? Wilmy, I want to start with you. We know that Microsoft is going to be controlling the content for both the digital event this Thursday and the one in July. But the one in the ace in the hole here is having this Geoff Keighley hub of events where Microsoft does not have to show everything at once. They could go all games in July, go all games this Thursday, take the hardware and just do a quick dive dump into that. What are you expecting from the Geoff Keighley run events?
I'm gonna be honest, not much.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Geoff Keighley, to me, I don't have much faith in this dude. And we already know the Xbox team doesn't have any faith in him either. I don't know, man. I just don't see. I think Xbox wants to control the narrative this gen.
Well, yes, I agree.
And
yep.
I don't really think they're going to let anybody like Geoff Keighley or Jason Schreier or anybody else bring them down. They're doing a great job, putting things out when they want to and when they're ready. I just don't really think they're going to give him much credibility at this point.
Well, you know what? I mean, listen, depending on who you ask, there are a lot of people, including myself, who will blatantly admit that I still hold a little, I hate the word used, bias. I still hold a little distrust after the leak of the Xbox 1x price prior to Microsoft letting everyone know. Now, some people will say, well, there's a second boom. That was a controlled leak. Microsoft knew. And I got to be honest with you, I disagree. I've heard from other sources that Microsoft was pissed that happened.
There was a reason, during the Game Awards that Phil Spencer, that's why they never told Geoff Keighley that they were going to reveal this.
Please elaborate on that, because I don't think people understand where you're going to go with this, but tell the people exactly the principle and points behind the December 12th event and how much was kept from him.
Oh, nothing was explained to Keighley. They were doing run-throughs like they were going to display games. He was kept in the dark the entire time until Phil Spencer walked out on that stage.
That is correct.
If you go back and you watch the show, which a lot of us did, we analyzed it, sadly, because we didn't have anything better to do in December. We watched. I mean, you could see the look on Geoff's face when Spencer came out, and revealed the Series X. He had no clue. The guy was taken by surprise. He was pissed. And I mean, let's face it, the most exciting thing they showed was Fast and Furious, like anybody gave a shit. But I mean, and I've said it before on your show, Phil came out with that Microsoft penis, slapped it on Geoff's head, and said, here. And that is exactly what he did. And he did not care. And they kept everything away from Keighley. They did not let him suspect the thing the entire show, because even, was it Major Nelson came out and said on social media that they purposely, was running a false show.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So he had no clue this was going on. They did not let Geoff Keighley in on it for one reason, because they knew he wanted to leak it.
Well, I got news for you. Look, there were turning points in gaming, and certain things when a situation happens, people look at it and they're wowed by it. Like, holy shit, I can't believe that happened. And those particular instances are then 5, 6, and 7 years later looked back upon as, like I said, a turning point for a generation. Now, I'm gonna bring up 2013. A lot of people get upset when I do that, but you know what? You got to know where you came from in order to be better than you were. Right? Again, this is not Confucius, but it's a reality. Something that my dad taught me. Right? You go back to 2013 and you look at, this is how we trade games. It wasn't, the production value was probably done on someone's iPhone, but the weight of that particular incident has carried the PlayStation. And again, taking nothing away from what Sony has done this generation. Their first party games, whether you love them or hate them, you know how I feel about them. I love them. They were a game changer, no pun intended. But that particular incident will always be looked upon as what maybe, depending on who you ask, the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, right? And I always keep bringing up the same way. I'll more than happily give Sony credit for being bodacious, if you will, in 2013. I keep bringing it up every time I have a show to talk about Xbox. December 12th, 2019. What Microsoft and Phil Spencer did is unprecedented. They displayed a console on the Game Awards, something never before done. They shocked the entire world, and since that time, it has been Xbox all day, every day. Now, if you want to get on your soapbox, talk about The Last of Us 2, and you want to talk about Ghost of Tsushima, you want to know something? Step back for a second, take a look at what Sony has done since December 12th, and even with those two games coming out, they still can't get out from behind the 8 ball. It's almost embarrassing how poor they have become, not in financially, but just the way that their marketing has completely shit the bed. Pardon my French. So, Wilmy, you were onto something, but I want to continue this unbelievable Xbox topic rolling, and I'm going to go to Cybernox next on this. Cybernox, listen, here's the thing. I can't say for sure whether or not Phil Spencer has complete faith in Geoff Keighley's event. I am going to say that Geoff Keighley is very much needed. Listen, whether you like him or not, and I've been critical of Geoff, and I've never met him. And you know what? I would shake his hand gladly if I did, and I'm going to tell you why. He is a businessman, but he is, I believe, to be a gamer first. His love of the industry comes through in all the events he does. Now, you may not agree with some of his tactics, especially pre-Game Awards 2019. A lot of people were like, yep, we know what's going to happen. It's going to be the Death Stranding Loverfest. And it turns out Death Stranding, I think, only won 2 awards. Game of the Year went to Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Well deserved.
It was nominated for a lot of awards.
It was nominated for, I think, 8 of them.
I think it was
10. Maybe it was. Maybe I'm not remembering, but it was a significant amount.
Oh yeah.
Regardless, E3 is gone. E3 may never come back again. I have to say that in 2019, when I got a chance to get in and hang out and live with the Iron Lords and meet like a Frederick Jackson and all the different people from the community that I got to podcast with and never actually met in real life, is going to be something I'm going to remember until I'm flying up to heaven. But he is something that the gaming industry needs, because he is doing something different that may replace E3 altogether. Him teaming up with I Am 8-Bit is a big deal. My question to you is this. We know about the 2 Microsoft events, but he himself has said that big Xbox announcements are coming during his Summer Game Fest. What are you expecting those announcements to be?
I don't think Xbox or Microsoft and Xbox would show any first party games under his
no, that's going to be all on their show.
Maybe some third party deals that they have lined up, maybe some future content for existing games that we have now, something along those lines, kind of what you mentioned. I think there were when the price leaked for the Xbox One X, Microsoft was pissed, Xbox was pissed. You could remember that. So kind of like what Wilmy said, and you as well, Boom, that I don't think he may have had a clue, but I don't think he had he didn't know that they were probably going to show the Series X last year.
No. If you look at it, listen, folks, if you want to see what we're talking about, the Game Awards are still available. Look at Geoff's face. He was completely sideswiped by this move.
He maybe had an idea by the time the show was airing, but I don't think he had it up to that point. But the thing is now with Keighley is he's almost has become like the face of gaming in sorts of way. If you look at the Game Awards last year, it had 45 million viewers, total, like maybe people that watched it on demand. So they recognize them as the Game Awards, the video game awards. They see him and his connection to gaming. So having Xbox announce a couple of things during his summer his Summer Game Fest, I think it's smart. You have now, kind of like what you mentioned, E3 now is going to be extremely questionable comes 2021, 100%. Right? Yeah. Especially if the Summerfest goes along without a hitch and it takes off, and you see the viewership growth, and you see these big companies think, hey, I don't have to spend all these millions of dollars, and I'm getting all this feedback from the fans that I'm reaching, globally, because everybody's going to be able to watch this now. I mean, they could have watched E3 as well, but you know how it is. You're going to reach a larger audience, I think, doing it this way. Don't
forget IGN's doing their
Oh yeah, IGN is doing their thing too. So I think everyone now is looking at hey, instead of having all of our, instead of spending our money over here where we got to pay these guys and then, try to get some revenue back, we can invest in ourselves, have our own events, have our own exclusives here, and then see what happens, see how much, feedback and see how much, how successful it can be for us. But having Geoff be a part, having Xbox, be in Geoff's Summer Game Fest, I think it's important. And I think we'll see what kind of events we'll get, especially that we'll be able to, they said that we'll be able to play demos, right?
Yes, they said they're going to be playable games, alphas, betas, demos. Yeah.
Can you imagine if, after the Xbox event, they said, hey, you can play Assassin's Creed Valhalla demo, go download it right now. It's like, oh man, it's going to be amazing.
And that would be more than likely that would remain exclusive to the Xbox platform.
Yeah, something like that, some sort of exclusivity.
For the demo, not the game.
Yeah, for the demo, right. Yeah. If you have an Xbox or, Windows PC, you can go and download the game right now. Yeah. So, I think it's going to be something along those lines. But like I said, I think Geoff kind of resembles gamers and gaming now. Every time you think of the Game Awards, that's the first name you associate with. So
of course, yes, he's built a very significant brand. And like I said, whether you like them or not, and some of the Game Awards have been extremely cringy, but you got to give him the credit that is due. He puts his nose to the grindstone, and he's made it better, and each and every year. And obviously, 2019, besides the Xbox reveal, was a fantastic show.
Yeah, the only thing that saddens me, but I'll just add this one thing about if this takes off and E3 is gone, is I thought of E3 week as a celebration of gaming, not a single platform where everybody, kind of like you just mentioned, you meet so many different people at E3.
That's the human element.
Exactly. That's the one thing. It's like I was planning on going this year, 2020, like hardware was going to be announced, all these different things, and unfortunately, the thing happened. So yeah, that's the one thing that I'll probably miss about it. Just having different people, everyone there together, celebrating gaming. I think that's always fun.
You know what? I'll say this. Last year, I was very, very I've told the story before. Very fortunate enough to be someone's plus one to get into Xbox Fan Fest, which was one of the most incredible experiences. The sheer amount of executives that are there, that are a handshake away, is unbelievable. It really is. The only one the only one that I missed was, of course, Phil Spencer. Of all people, I got to meet everyone else: Bonnie Ross, Aaron Greenberg, Rod Ferguson. You name it, I met them all. I just didn't meet Phil. He happened to come and go when I was online doing something stupid, probably getting a poster signed or something. I missed Phil Spencer. But I will say this: the best part, the most unbelievable and memorable part of E3 wasn't the games, wasn't LA, certainly wasn't LA. LA is filthy, by the way. It was the human factor. Getting to meet so many people. Listen, folks, I'm a humble dude, right? I'm just a guy that just likes talking about video games. I don't consider myself a superstar, not even remotely close. I actually had some people that heard me speaking to King, and they're like, I know that voice. You're Mr. Boomstick XL. I'm getting goosebumps. I was embarrassed because they wanted to take pictures with me, of all people. Like, who the fuck am I? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? And to have that kind of reach with game fans, and to be able to meet them and just give high fives and get excited about the industry, man, if E3 goes away, it is going to be a sad day. I'm just hoping that something like Xbox Fan Fest still continues, because that is the mecca for anyone who is an Xbox fan. It was. I'm going to be honest with you, because it sounds stupid, but it was life-changing for me as a fan, seeing what goes on behind the scenes. Real quick, I'm going to bring 10% into the conversation, but Beaner 8127 drops a very outrageous and generous $5 super chat. He says this: third party only. A third party only show means everyone watches. PlayStation owners will tune in and see the games coming to the PS5, but will know that about Game Pass, and that they will play best on the Series X. That is a fan-freaking-tastic point, dude.
You know what I'll say about sorry, Boom. I'll mention one thing too.
Podcast. Yeah, talk away.
One thing that I'll say about, if Microsoft's first event is all third party, I just hope that their first party blows everybody out of the water.
Look,
because
I'm not going to tell you who I heard this from. I'm going to tell you this. I'm telling you this right now. Rest assured that the first party stuff is going to be so incredible. There's so much of it. They needed their own event. I'll end it with that. They have so much in the pipeline, and they're so confident on what they have to show, that they needed a second show for their own stuff.
Hey, this Beaner, that comment was so fantastic because it is so true.
It really is. Why don't you respond to that comment, and I'll come back with the question on the back end.
Oh, I just want to. It's clear. I mean, PlayStation Universe, I think dual sensors now, dual shockers, whatever. Multiple Sony websites have been running articles saying to tune into Xbox's show because they're saying it's PS5 games, which is true. It's multiplats, but you're only going to see it because you're watching the Xbox show. So
Square ran the most embarrassing title. Their editor-in-chief should be ashamed of themselves. Let someone run it.
It was so silly because, when you first start reading it, you're like, oh, this is the Sony event. They're doing it. And then it's like, tune into Inside Xbox. You're like, what? It makes no sense, man. I tell you, it's bizarre out here.
You know what? I'm gonna pose a question to you on the back end of what you said about Beaner's comment, which, by the way, was epic. And of course, thank you for your generosity, my friend. For you personally, I know that we've talked behind the scenes. Like Wilmy Hood, you don't necessarily have the same confidence that I have in Geoff Keighley, simply because of some of his questionable behavior representing the Sony brand over Xbox. Mm-hmm. But he himself said in the initial, hey, we're doing something, that Xbox would be represented in a very, very well way, and lots of surprises would be coming. Mm-hmm. Now, do you think that, like Cybernox was saying, that that Microsoft would not allow for him to unveil something big, or do you think that he still has the ear of Phil Spencer?
I'm actually going to respectfully disagree. And listen, it is what it is, man.
Don't you do it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But listen, 45 million views for the Game Awards. Maybe Keighley is a little jaded that he didn't get the inside scoop on his own show and they blindsided him, but that's a good blindside. There was so much talk about what happened, and it elevated the Game Awards in a way he would never be able to do himself.
I agree 100%. That's a fantastic point.
So listen, this guy left the Coliseum or whatever it was at E3 for a reason. He wanted to do his own thing. IGN is taking the opportunity to do their own thing. So as much as I hate to say it, E3 is probably done. It is, at this point, it is what it is. It's probably long gone. So you're in a situation where somebody's got to come out on top to fill the void. And if it's Geoff Keighley, it's Geoff Keighley. And, at some point in time, even if they've wronged him, if he's the quote unquote man in charge for the new quote unquote E3, brute force your way into these people loving you. If you feed them, they're going to love you for it. I mean, right now, Xbox is the only one giving us anything at this point. And, if Sony's not giving their boy Keighley any handouts, look at the trailer for the Summer Game Fest or whatever it's called happening. Like, at least half of the games they showed in the trailer for this event were Xbox games. They even showed Everwild.
Great point. That is a great point, dude.
They showed Everwild. Like, so while I do think most of the announcements and things are going to be stuff we already know about, and it could depend on the timing too. Like before the main event kicks off or whatever, Xbox could possibly already have their event. But I do actually see them giving him a bone and say, hey, you can announce this. If he gets a lot of feedback, I just got to say, as somebody that spends all day on YouTube, and I mean all day because I have earbuds in when I'm working and I don't take any breaks. The only breaks I take is to open up a new video or whatever. I'll quickly check the comments, but I'll check the comments. And it used to be at one point in time, I could be looking up the 10 top gross fish on the planet, the weirdest video of all time. And the top comment would be Xbox has no games.
I love it.
That's great. I'm not even making that up, man. I wish I was, but we live in a world where that's I would just come across that crap. Now anymore, you have people like Young, Layman Gaming, my boy ACG.
ACG is awesome. Yep.
So many of these YouTube sites, and let's call it as it is. YouTube is replacing the old media. They're replacing the IGNs,
Absolutely.
the Kotakus, the Polygons. They're out. People like Boom, Dealer, Wilmy, I mean, you name it, Colt Eastwood, Randolph Thor. That's our, set of like our side of the community, but they're getting bigger and bigger. And then you have the other side too, like the Young Yaz, like I said, stuff like that. Listen, if you go and just look at their last like 20 videos, I guarantee you at least 5, 6, maybe 7 or 8 of them will have something positive about the Xbox brand.
Yeah, great point.
When you look at the comments, and it's positivity. I've even seen people that I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're just saying it, if they're closet bleed green, Xbox bots, whatever you want to call them. They're just like, I got to get in here in this video and make this comment. But they're saying stuff like, hey, I'm jumping ship from Sony and I'm going with Xbox this time. And it's kind of like, well, why would you not? I mean, look at what they're giving us. We have more topics later on, but listen, it's just, this is where it's turning. The big ship is turning. Everybody's going to want to jump on board. The best value, the best graphics, pretty soon, probably the best and most first-party games. Yeah. They didn't buy these studios and they didn't develop a new studio from scratch. As I saw somebody in the comments call it a decoration. They're not going to spend all this money to not produce. It makes 0 sense.
Do you know that it has been rumored again? I have to find the quote, so I'm gonna paraphrase here.
Yeah.
According to an insider that I know that will remain nameless, this is the most money that Microsoft has spent on first party in the history of Xbox. Understand the weight of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Xbox launched in 2001, right? Where the brand is 19 years old, right? Come this November. It is the most money the company has ever spent on first party in the history of the brand.
Well, it's got the full backing of Microsoft now,
Yeah, well, Satya Nadella understands that this is big business.
And listen, with what you just said, think about how much they've purchased. Think about the infrastructure they've been spending for years.
Yes.
On xCloud, the Azure servers. But guess what? When it comes time for their quarterly earnings, they're making so much money. Some of these other big companies look at that money and they blush. They only could imagine the kind of money they're making, and they're still spending. And it's only going to go up from here. And the more money you spend on your product, the better you make it, the more money you're going to make back. I mean, I'll just leave it at that. The future is outrageously bright, man. Yeah.
If you do think that Microsoft's gonna throw them a bone, what do you think they're gonna give them?
Oh boy. Toads, no.
Hey, maybe.
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, we'll find out that they rebooted it and it looks completely different now. No, no. I honestly,
you think they'll give them like maybe.
It's not going to be like the Initiatives game or anything that. I'm trying to think. They have so many studios that okay, I'll tell you one. Probably one of those studios that we've been sleeping on, and that's not the Coalition. The one that sounds like that. Frick. It's the one that did the We Happy Few game.
Oh, the
Compulsion.
No.
Compulsion games.
Yeah, Compulsion.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Because we're sitting here, we see what they've done so far.
They're the Dark Horse, dude. They're doing a horror game. That's a third-person game. They compared it. This is their words, not mine.
Yeah,
it's compared to Uncharted meets BioShock,
and that sounds awesome.
So Microsoft will give him a little bone, not a big bone.
Yeah. I didn't say it had to be like a megaton,
Yeah.
Means. But yeah,
I just didn't know if maybe they're like, because they showed hardware on his. I don't know if they would do maybe even like a Lockhart during some.
Boom said it earlier, and I was like, dude, that is so smart. You're gonna, if you want to showcase the Series S, that's a perfect place to do it. Something like that where they don't have to dedicate time on one of their own shows to show the hardcore something they might not buy or probably aren't going to buy, because the Series S, let's face it, that's for the moms and pops that go buy their kid a system, or people that just like for whatever reason refuse to get a 4K TV and they're like, well, I got a 1080p monitor sitting here. Let me go get this console for it. So that'd be perfect. Boom said it, and I thoroughly agreed when he did say it. They could showcase the Series S. That'd be awesome of them to do, because it's not just going to be Xbox fans tuning in. It's going to be everybody to this thing. So that they could do that, and I do think they'll throw them, like you said, like a little bone. But it's like I said, if it's depending on the timing, anything that was announced beforehand, whether it be Everwild or oh God, there's so much, I don't know, like Halo Infinite, they're going to show that off sooner or later. They could do even more of a deep dive. There's things like that they can do and really have a presence during this event. So
it is, like I said, there's a lot to be excited about, a lot of unknowns. But I want to bring in our expert when it comes to consoles, because again, he keeps his ear to the floor. He understands what it is, who's going to be buying this game, who he has sold these consoles to. Gaming Forte, look, again, I have it on zero authority, so it's completely a shot in the wind by me. No clarification whatsoever. Microsoft understands that the running joke for the brand has been they have no games, right? The crutch, or the whatever you want to call it, for Xbox for this current generation that we're in, has been the lack of third-party quote-unquote bangers. Now that will range from person to person. Some people may think that Rise Son of Rome is a banger. I do. Some people may suggest that Quantum Break is a banger. I do, because I love that game. Same thing with Sunset Overdrive. A lot of people didn't get the game. I freaking love that game. Beat all the DLC, would play through it again. I was hoping for an HD version, to be honest with you, right? That's not going to happen. That's fine. But Microsoft is going to be showing games in the first round, and more than likely games in the second round in July, which we're, from what I'm hearing, we're going to be completely over. It's going to be so out of control, amazing, that we're not going to know our heads are going to explode. My question to you is what I posed in the beginning of this topic. Do you feel the Summerfest event by Geoff Keighley would be a good place to potentially show off the Series S and just get that piece of hardware out of the way?
So I think they need to. It will be a good place to do it. I just think they need to do it sooner. I think that needs to be talked about within the next couple of weeks, to not no more than a month from now, just so you get the expectation of what that system is out there for people to, digest over the next couple of months before the pre-orders go live for both systems, to say, hey, which one do I actually want? Because there is a benefit to both systems if you decide that you want to go with one or the other. Are you one of those people that care about that ultra high end? Do you want your games to be flawless when it comes to precision and execution on the way the games perform on that system? Then you'll want that higher end system. But if you're a person that just wants to get into the next generation and have better frame rates and better performance, you might want to just jump into the S version of the system. So I think that needs to happen a lot sooner. I think Microsoft already did the one thing when they said we're going to give Geoff Keighley a system to showcase on his show by not telling him about it. That was the jumping off point. So people got to remember, they did this already one time. I don't think they need to do it again for the starter out system, just because I think they need to get that information out there quicker than normal. But I do think they are going to be throwing some bones out there when it comes to some of the games they're going to be talking about. We all know May 7th is going to be about third party, which I actually agree with. I feel like third party is going to be something that's going to drive the generation throughout each year, and you want to have a place for those presenters to showcase their games, especially on the most powerful hardware when it comes to a console base. So I think that is going to be the best place to do it. Get it in people's hearts and minds now. Games that's coming out later in the year, like Cyberpunk and all those other games that's coming out, exactly what those games are going to look like. What they're going to play like. What you're going to be getting with that system. I also think that's why they should tie the Series S into that conversation, because that's going to be the games that most people buy. If they see a Series S out there and they know, dog, that looks better than my Xbox One X, that's going to get people to want to say, hey, I don't really need to spend $500-$600 on the new system. I can get that $200 to $300, that $300 to $400 system and be perfectly fine. So I think third party is the best place to show that off and leave first party to the big guns when it comes to what you want to do with your high-end system, because everybody that's buying, think about it, everybody pretty much that has first party, they're already in that ecosystem. They're already tied into getting those games because of Game Pass. So the only thing you're really doing is showing off the system at that point. You're showing off the games to get people excited for the system they're buying, but those games are already basically gave to those people just because of the service that you already have in place with those people. Third party is where they really need to knock it out the park, and we already know that the S version is going to be the more popular version. So
because of the price.
Because of the price.
Yes.
And if they want to get people into the ecosystem and moved over and branded with that Xbox green, that's where they should do it at when it comes to the May 7th event, or somewhere in between there and the first party event that they're going to do. But I do think when it comes to the Summerfest, I do think they will give Geoff Keighley something like the multiplayer reveal for Halo Infinite. They might do
strong prediction.
They can definitely do something like we'll show off the multiplayer, because not the multiplayer, the single player, because we all know single player, they're gonna blow it all out. They're gonna say everything. This is the full power of what you're gonna get with the Series X when it does release. Full ray tracing, everything's gonna be turned up to 11. We got potentially they're gonna say we had 2 studios working on it. You guys wanted to know what the initiative has been doing on top of their game. They've been helping furnish this game for the X, so you can see exactly what it's going to look like on this system, and this is what it looks like. They're going to give you all the bells and whistles with that, and I think when the digital event for Summerfest come out, you're going to get the reveal for the multiplayer for Halo, and I think that's going to be the next step, because think about it, they want to show off as much as they can show off, but if you can literally get as much publicity in 2 different mediums, why not? Multiplayer doesn't have to be talked about on the day that you show off the game for the first time. You can show that off at a second time, get another month of publicity around what your system is going to be doing, and plus the games you're going to have, and then that gives you a whole nother month to drum up Game Pass and say, hey, guess what? You don't even have to pay for this game. Get into Game Pass, wherever the price point is. You could play not only an epic single player and an amazing multiplayer. And guess what? Geoff Keighley put out a thing on tweet say, and if you have Game Pass right now, you could download the multiplayer beta for free right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a great point. That's a great point.
That's what I think they're going to do for Geoff Keighley when it comes to that, because I think it doesn't have to be the system, because they already did a system once before. I think now it needs to be something tangible about the games that are coming with that system.
Strong.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what, this has been a good way to start the show. 48 minutes in, and we're at Xbox all day and all night. So let me just catch up on some of these super chats, and we're going to get right into the next topic. Jesse Darby drops an outstanding and very generous $5 super chat and says this: I wonder what they're going to do for the 20th anniversary of Xbox. That's interesting, dude. I have absolutely no idea, but I know they're going to have to do it upright. It's going to have to be big. Chaos Theory, who, by the way, is one of the winners of a $25 gift card of his choice, and of course he picked Xbox Live for the Patreon supporters, drops an outstanding and very generous $2 super chat and says this: they should show them both, get it done, then games. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Get the hardware out of the way. Rob Jones shows his generosity with a $5 super chat and says this: do you think with I think it's RDR2. With Red Dead Redemption 2 coming to Game Pass same day as third-party event, we'll get to see how Red Dead Redemption 2 GTA 5 looks on the Series X. That's a great, man. I've heard people say that, but you know what, Rob Jones, you're making some serious sense here, because it makes, it really coincides. Like, why not show what a game like Red Dead Redemption, which is graphically stout, would look like and played, and that just goes to show you the relationship Microsoft has with Rockstar. If that in fact does happen, don't be surprised that they get the marketing rights for GTA 6 whenever that comes out, because for Rockstar to have the upgrade available for this event to show the what it looks like on the Xbox Series X, that is saying a lot more than just showing the game. There's a relationship being built there. Okay, and we got a we got a $10 super chat from PS5 will ship with bags of ice. It's gonna overheat. I like that. I like the pun. He says, "What's good, Booming Panel? Which TV do you guys recommend for the Series X? I'm thinking about going with an OLED C9. You can't go wrong with that. That is a monster TV, dude.
Yeah.
Seems to be the popular choice. Yeah, I believe Dealer has one as well, and I think Rand has the Series 8. But they love that TV, dude. You I don't think you'd go wrong with either TV.
I'll say something. Can I just mention something real quick? Boom?
Sure.
If you're in the market to purchase a TV and you're if you're here, you're a pretty serious hardcore gamer. But if you're looking for a TV and you're just looking to upgrade to 4K, and I would say instead of just buying 4K HDR, like save that money, save a little bit more, and go for the OLED, like 100%. Like I made the mistake of just buying a regular 4K HDR TV, and now I keep looking at that OLED, like man, I should have just waited like another maybe month or two, and I would have picked up the an OLED, so. That's my
good advice. I mean, yeah, if you listen,
OLEDs will be cheap as heck by November too.
Oh yeah, they're going to be ridiculously cheap. But listen, folks, let's move on to the next topic, and continuing with the Xbox confidence being displayed by Microsoft, and more importantly, Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, has been once again making the rounds for momentum-pushing interviews in 2020 that included Gamertag Radio, 2 IGN interviews, and multiple sit-downs with members of the gaming media. Well, Phil Spencer was a guest on CNBC's Squawk Alley, which is known as the morning business news program, to discuss the Xbox Series X, the games currently in development, and what he said is why I had to bring this as a topic. Now, here are some of the important quotes for the interview. I want to bring up a picture. I think everyone's going to dig this. I found this on the internet. I had to bring it up because this is how I feel about good old Phil Spencer right now. He holds the Infinity Gauntlet, ladies and gentlemen. That is Phil taking over for Thanos. I love this picture. Not as much as to get it tattooed, but to have it on tonight's show as we close in on 400 live viewers. So I'm going to say this: hit that like button, and if you're enjoying this, share this out on social media so let others know that this program exists. But here are the quotes. He says this: "It's an exciting year for us. We're launching the Xbox Series X this year. That drives so much excitement on the teams and the community. Teams are doing a really good job to keep the hardware on track. On the hardware side, we feel good about our plans. There's obviously some impact on our schedules, but overall, we are currently in line with where we thought we would be." There are many things, and I'll say this, there are many things that I took away from this interview that had me both excited and concerned at the same time. And here's why. First, because Microsoft may have forecasted this potential hardware shortage issue and got ahead of it, in my opinion, I expect the Xbox X and S to launch worldwide in the fall. And I'm telling you this, in the first quarter, I'm expecting them to ship, and again, this is my opinion, don't go crazy if I'm wrong, 8 to 12 million consoles first quarter, which ends March 31st, 2021. Now, people are going to be like, boom, you're a lunatic. And I say, so what? I'm calling it out there, and if I'm right, people will be bending the knee. And I get that from the Iron Lords. Now, I will say this. If the Bloomberg report is in fact correct, that leaked a couple of weeks ago, whereas Sony's PS5 will only have anywhere between 5 and 6 million by the end of the first quarter, that could potentially be a 2 or 3 to 1 advantage on console availability. That's a big deal. And if they really push the envelope and they release 50-60% of those consoles as Xbox Series S consoles, the $299 priced one that Gaming Forte himself believes is going to be the more quote unquote popular console because it's cheaper, it's going to be big news for Microsoft, bad news for Sony's PlayStation. Now here is I want to kind of twist a little bit, okay? The bad news, in my opinion, with the words of that Phil pulled out of this interview, is when you talk about Xbox, most gamers, regardless of what flag you currently fly, will equate that with Halo and the Master Chief. And since the announcement of the Xbox Series X, it was confirmed that Halo Infinite would be the only second Halo game in the franchise's history to launch with an Xbox console, going all the way back to 2001 with Combat Evolved. Now, when asked on IGN's Xbox Unlocked, Phil Spencer stated that Microsoft would not delay the console launch for any title. That, of course, includes Halo Infinite. And just about every interview post-COVID-19, Phil's words were the safety of his developers are paramount. And that is what is leading the charge with Microsoft. Here's another quote from the CNBC interview that I found to be very interesting. And this is for Phil Spencer. I'd say the bigger unknown is probably the game production. Just being honest. Game production is a large-scale entertainment activity now, and you have hundreds of people coming together, building assets, working through creative. On the game production side, we're learning every day. I still feel good about it, but I also need to make sure that the security and safety of our teams is the most important thing and not unduly push when things just aren't ready. Folks, listen, the question is very simple. You know, we're all excited for Xbox. But the question that I have for the panel, the near 400 people watching, and the panel, which is not 400 people, thank God. The panel, which of course is 5 people, including myself, and the near 400 watching live.
We missing a lot of people.
We listen, no one would get a word in edgewise. It would be pandemonium. Here's my question. And I'll start with Gaming Forte on this.
All right.
How important is Halo Infinite to the Xbox Series X launch? And do you think that the team at 343 Industries will surprise the millions of Xbox fans with a confirmation at the Xbox digital event rumored for July and tell everyone that, yes, we did it. Halo Infinite will in fact make that launch. But my question, more importantly, is what if they miss it?
Oh, man. Okay. So being a huge Halo fan, I have not shied away from the fact that I believe 343 needs to deliver. At least for me, when it comes to this Halo, this is their last chance with Halo with me, because I've just been disappointed. I haven't got a full game since Halo 3. And I need them to just put it all together. I think they know what they're doing. I just think they need to focus more on what people want in the game instead of just giving people what they want in the game. You know, it comes down to that. But when it comes down to the expectations of this game launching, man, is it important? Yes, it's very important to the launch of the new system, but it's not an end be all thing. And the reason I say that is because due to the climate of the world that we're sitting in right now, I think most gamers would kind of understand if the game does get pushed back and delayed a little bit due to everything that's going on. Most studios are pretty much sitting at home and they're not able to, you know, they're doing the best that they can, but they're not able to like work at the efficient level that they normally can work at because they're not in the studio to do it. So if it was to get delayed by a month or a month and a half or into the first quarter of 2021, I wouldn't be surprised and I wouldn't be upset about it. But the one thing I would need to see from them is they would have to literally blow out and give me everything, all the information I need to know about that game to get me and keep me excited for something that was going to come at launch. Now that I got to wait for it now, you know, if they can get everybody excited about what they're going to see in Halo over the next 2 months and delay it and say, hey, look, it's going to get delayed, but we want to give you guys a good inside look of what your guys are actually going to get with Halo. And it's exciting and it's something fresh and new and something that everybody wants. Cause everybody knows pretty much what Halo is. We just want to see the competency behind the game and the title at this point. So that's what I think most people are really looking forward to. And if we get that, most people will be okay with a delay. But if they can't live up to the expectation of what people want in these demos and these displays, then it's going to be something that people are going to be like, man, well, at least if I can play it early, I can get it out the way and it won't be excited for it or anything. Because that's pretty much how I'm going to feel. But it's not going to be the end be all, because I feel like the X is going to be more than just the Halo box. It's going to be a bunch of new games and experiences that we never got a chance to play before due to all the extra studios that they have in their wheelhouse. But Halo is going to be something that's super important, and launching another system with a Halo game would be something I'm looking forward to. I just think that they need to. I like what Phil Spencer said. He said, I'm looking out for my associates, and a lot of companies aren't doing that for their employees. And I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt on a game being delayed a little bit to make sure that not only we get the best version of the game that we can possibly get, but people are still staying safe at the same time. And I think that's the biggest thing that really matters to me in the interim. But it will suck if that game gets delayed. And I think for most people, it wouldn't be a death blow, but it'll be something that they'll be like, dang, I might wait to get my system because Halo's not coming out day one. I think sales may suffer a little bit due to that.
Okay, I mean that's a great point. Wilmy Hood, let's bring you back into the conversation. Before I do, Yosemite Blam drops a $5 super chat, and he says this: people are going on about Geoff not knowing about the Series X reveal. Need to listen to Major Nelson's podcast, episode 645, 33 minutes in. Phil confirms Geoff knew. Well, you know what, dude? I will take you up on that offer, and I will definitely check that out. And in fact, if I was wrong, then I was wrong. But I got to be honest with you, man. You know what they say? Picture is worth 1,000 words. Geoff's face, well, that was looking when that was happening, didn't look like someone new, but you know what? I'm going to listen to that. And I've listened to it multiple times. I guess I did not listen to that part. Sir X-Men drops a $2 super chat and says, do not launch Halo if it's buggy. No more of that. Oh, no, God, yes, please. That's for sure. You know, Wilmy, I want to bring you into the conversation, and I want you to attack this from a business point of view. We're hearing from a Reddit post that the Xbox Series X is in full production right now as we speak in China. It is being built in 2 locations right now. Now, we have heard in the past that in June is when these consoles were supposed to start going into full production. That includes the PlayStation 5. If in fact they started in April, like this rumor has been set out there, and again, there's no, again, take this with a grain of salt, folks. I don't have any clarification that this is real. I'm just throwing out what I read. That tells me that Microsoft is putting themselves in a position to come up with a number anywhere between 8 and 12 million, like I said. Now, some people may say that's an inflated number. I say nay. And the reason why I say that is because we heard through that Bloomberg report, again, take it with a grain of salt, but it is Bloomberg, that the inside track is that Sony doesn't want to produce that many PS5s because it's going to cost them a significant amount of money, and they cannot afford to take a loss, which is why you're only getting 5 to 6 million in the first quarter, which ends March 31st. When you hear Phil at the CNBC interview, the confidence regarding the console and being ready for launch is not to be believed. Now, the confidence for having certain games like Halo Infinite ready, not so much. So my question to you is a 2-parter. One, do you think that Microsoft has in fact started production early to make sure that not only is the X going to be available, but the S, which is currently, according to Jez Corden of Windows Central, in the take-home protocol for testing through the Microsoft Take It Home program. And they'll have the S ready, the X ready, the 2 SKU attack, and I'll finish it off with, how important do you think it is for 343 to launch Halo Infinite with the console?
I'll do the Halo first.
Okay.
I think Halo launching with the system is only important to certain people on Twitter and YouTube.
Okay, that's a great point. Go ahead, take it away.
Because I've already started seeing this a couple of days ago. There's some people in the Twitter community and on YouTube. They took Phil's interview on that news channel the other day, CNBC. They're already running with the narrative that 343 is not going to have Halo Infinite out this year. They're talking about it'll be 2021, 2022. I don't see.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you know how social media is. I don't see an issue with it. I mean, I'll play Halo. I can take it or leave it. There's other games that I'm looking forward to. So to me, it's not a big loss if it doesn't come out this year. But I think the people that are in the Xbox ecosystem, they're not really going to care that much, and they're kind of going to understand. I mean, we've been in this lockdown for what, 2 months now?
2 months, almost 60 days.
A lot of these companies have not been in their studios. My son is in the gaming industry. He's not been in his studio where he works since the 1st of March. That's just how this works. And all the the Microsoft fans, they're really not going to care. But it will become fanboy fodder, for the few YouTube channels and the people on Twitter. And as far as, already being in production, I'm pretty sure they've been in production for a while now. Phil's they're really confident on this whole thing. They're ready to go. Phil said it several times. He's ready.
Yeah.
The Xbox team, they're ready to go. They want this console out here. They want them out. They want to get them in people's hands as soon as possible. He said several times in, many interviews that they're ready. And I'm pretty sure they're going to have about the number you're predicting. I'm behind you 100% on those numbers. They're ready to go. They want this thing out, and they want to get it to us as quick as possible. And honestly, I can't wait to pre-order a couple of them myself. So,
you know what? Forte keeps bringing it up. I've already said I'm buying both. I'm buying an S for the room, and I'm buying an X for my where I game.
Well, I'll buy both. I'll buy 2 X's, of course, one for me, one for the wife.
Yeah, of course.
Because she's a gamer too. But
nice.
That'll be day one, man. I'm buying both of those, and then unlike some people in the chat believe, I will also buy a PS5 and a lot of ice.
Well, you make sure you get that big block because obviously you don't want it to melt. Now, hopefully, there's not going to be any funny story. Funny story. It just goes to show you that even without rumored problems, when I first got the PlayStation 4, my PlayStation 4 on launch day, I got it. I was so excited to play it. Was loading games up, dude. It got so hot, and it was out in the open that the cord. The power cord melted, dude.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, so I told you about what happened to me, didn't I?
No.
Back around Thanksgiving, my PS Pro that was in the living room, it kept kicking off the breaker in my living room. I had to have an electrician come out because I thought something was wrong with the wiring in my house. And
my goodness,
it didn't matter where I plugged this PlayStation into, it would kick that breaker. And I packed this thing up. A friend of mine is a manager of a GameStop like 2 miles from my house. I took it in to Eric, and Eric plugged it in at GameStop, and it started kicking breakers there at GameStop. And
oh my God, that's bad.
And something inside of it just, came loose. I'm not sure what it was. So we wound up just tossing it in the trash, and I walked out with a new one because they had them on sale for like $199.
Wow.
But yeah, and I did have one Xbox X that went crazy on me this gen because I'm in the preview program or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I had to get out of that, man. Oof.
Yeah, it did brick my system, but they completely replaced it free of charge. But do not try to call Sony and tell them you got a bad console.
They'll tell you $195 with shipping. Yeah, that's all they're gonna tell you. Well, listen, I'll tell you what. So you agree with the 8 to 12 million first quarter 2021?
I completely agree, and because Phil said they're not going to be underpowered, they're not going to be overpriced, and he wants these things out to the public. I mean, these guys have been working hard, man, to get this out.
Yeah, no, they have.
They've been working on this console for a number of years now. They're ready. He's ready to start swinging the penis.
Yeah. Good old kickstand Phil. You know what? Let me bring Cybernox into the conversation, and I'll keep the question simple. 343 right now, in my opinion, the entire world, the eyes are on them, and I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't want to be in their position, simply because Halo 4 was, in my opinion, had a fantastic single player. Not so much in the multiplayer. That's fine. Okay, they tried to be Call of Duty, it didn't work. Fine. Okay. Halo 5, people know how I feel about it. It took me 4 years after it launched to actually beat it, and that's absurd. But I just did not like it. I did not like most of the game. I simply completely went through it just to go through it and say I beat it. The multiplayer with Warzone, well, what could you say? That's a win-win for everybody if you're a big multiplayer fan. But Halo Infinite has a lot riding on it for a lot of reasons. One, it's going to launch or potentially launch with a new console. But more so than that, it's the Slipspace engine. That's that apparently, based on different avenues, $50 million that they've spent to make sure that that the next Halo is going to be the best looking, best running Halo we've ever seen. For you personally, not the industry, not Xbox, not Phil Spencer, not 343. For you, how important is Halo Infinite launching alongside the X? Would you, as a fan, be disappointed if that does not happen?
I wouldn't say I would be disappointed. I'd rather them get everything out of the way, get this game 100% polished, ready, because like most of us that have been following the Halo franchise for a while, there's something different about this Halo. Because if we're not blown away, or if we don't think this Halo is up to, let's say, our standards, I think they're gonna have to wait a little while before they bring another one back. There's a lot riding on here. 343, kind of like what everyone here alluded to. They have something to prove to us. They've gotten half a game right in one place, half a game. Halo 4 had the good campaign. Exactly. To me, I think it's a hand-in-hand situation. I think the Xbox Series X is just as important to Halo Infinite as Halo Infinite is important to the Series X. Just because they need that power, they need that type of hardware to make sure that there's no excuse, right? You don't want the developers coming back and saying, "Oh, we couldn't do this because of so said hardware." They have no excuse now. Like they built a new engine, kind of like what you mentioned, Boom. I think it was 500 million, right? They built a new engine.
So what I'd say 50, yeah, it's 50, yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So they have the whole backing of Xbox, Microsoft riding on this. So we're going through something, unfortunately, kind of like Wilmy just mentioned. His son is in the gaming industry, so he hasn't been going into the office. A lot of people are working remotely, so we have a little bit of forgiveness there, but I would be more disappointed if they rush this to launch with the Xbox Series X and it's buggy. It's not what we wanted.
It's broken
in some sort. Things are not matchmaking's got to be flawless because it's going across multiple devices now. So get all the kinks out of the way. Make sure everything is working fine, and just give us the best Halo that you can give us whenever that's ready. If that'll be this year or beginning of the next, kind of like what Phil mentioned, no software is going to delay the launch of the Series X. So let's keep it that way. If Halo needs to be delayed a little bit for more polishing, working out the kinks, whatever you need to do, then go ahead and do that. I think the fans, some of us will be a little bit disappointed, sure, but I think at the end will be satisfied.
No, that's a great way to close it out. Let me bring Tempest on. Tempest, before I get to you, I just have to thank a couple of people in the for the super chat. Gamer by Choice drops an outstanding and very generous $5 super chat and says this: delay if they need it. I just want to get a great game. Rumors say GTA 6 may have been delayed to be retooled. Just make a great game. Yeah, I mean that's a great point.
Yeah.
Aaron JF94 drops a $2 super chat. Thank you for your generosity, my friend. He said the Xbox P3ness is ready. I like that. There you go. See what you started there, Wilmy Hood? Not the Xbox penis. So Tempest Son, I want to talk to you regarding 343 and Halo Infinite. Like I said earlier, the world's eyes are on this developer, and I think the contributing factor, I think the exclamation point in whether or not this is going to be a launch title is what they show us in the July event, right? Because there's no doubt that they could easily just show off some multiplayer gameplay, which is your forte. No pun intended to our panel member gaming forte, but it's the single player campaign that everyone wants to see. They want to see what's going to make this the new flavor for Halo, which some people are, will equate to, well, we want it to be more open world. I say yay. I don't want Destiny Halo. What I want is like that leak that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, where there's going to be 30 to 35 to 40 hours with the main campaign and all the side quests. It sounds like a winning combination to me. For you personally, do you agree that what 343 and Microsoft shows during their first party event will determine whether or not this game is going to launch?
You mean what they show at this event coming up? Man, I don't know, because they can be very selective with what they do show. I think honestly, we spoke on it before. What we're going to get probably is the story blowout. Here's what gets you excited about the narrative, and then they probably will piecemeal the features of the game. Let's not forget. I mean, you can just look at Gears 5 as an example. You're probably going to have multiplayer, more multiplayer, another multiplayer mode, and then you're going to have story. And now you're also going to have side missions or extra story, as opposed to what we've had. So there's many different pieces to this game, so they can piecemeal what they want to show us up to launch. We still have quite a few. It's still quite a few months away, and I don't. Yeah, what they show, whatever they show, it has to be bombastic. It has to be huge. It's got to impress us. That's what I feel they have to show. I don't think that's going to be indicative of what they actually launch with. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's going to tell us, how close it is to being finished. But they have a ton of people working on this game, a ton of people. And if this game really is that ambitious, in my eyes, instead of, claiming we're going to get the moon and actually delivering such, scale it back a little bit and release some of these extra features a little bit later. As long as we got a complete story, we have at least 1 to 2 complete multiplayer modes, I think they could ship some stuff later. You have a tool, Game Pass. Now, I'm not saying ship a half-done game. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you have a complete campaign, that's amazing. If you have the arena multiplayer mode in some form of Warzone mode, we're hearing rumors that they have even something beyond what they did with Warzone in the works.
Yeah. So Battle Royale, cover your ears, folks. But yes, that might be coming. And you know what? I got a little piece to say on that in a second here. But yeah, if you just release at least as much as what Halo 5 had, that Halo 5 was plenty of game. Whether people didn't like what they played or not, I mean, that's a different story. But if you're going to go in here and say we have 20 parts to this game, 20 different things, maybe pare it back to 15 and then release some, because you have a platform, Game Pass. So I'm not saying release an unfinished game. I'm saying maybe if there's a few things, few extras they wanted to give us, just give it to us later on. Is what you're saying. Yeah. Now, if it means, releasing a broken game the day that the Series X comes out, I don't want it.
they should postpone it if that's the case. If it's a thing where 80% of what they wanted to deliver us is good to go, release it. Because we wouldn't know otherwise. I mean, we can hear rumors all day long, but if they had an extra 5 multiplayer modes or something like that in the works, or extra side missions that they wanted to release at launch, as long as we have plenty of game to play there right away, because I really think it's important. People know that this is the first time since the original Xbox launched that we're getting a Halo at launch. The budget's massive. The amount of people working on it is massive. I think people really want to play this game. And me personally, I used to love Halo. It used to be my favorite game series. Along the way, I don't think I'm one of those, like, the community split. No, sprinting is terrible in Halo games. I don't know. I don't know what world those people are living on, but it's not the same planet I live on. Okay, so I'm part of the camp where I think Halo needs to evolve. No pun intended. Combat evolve.
Oh, nice. I like
that.
But
yeah. But I really want them. Like me, my ideal thing. Like, maybe people might hate me if I was in the director's chair, but I want them to actually show what these Spartans are capable of. If you read the books, these Spartans are like there was one scene where, Master Chief, or John, outside of the suit, and had nothing to do with the suit, he was watching a pin drop and he was fighting somebody like in the ring or something like that, or he's working out, something of the effect, but he sees things move in slow motion. Now, I'm not saying make a slow motion game, but these people are literally superhumans. Yeah. I want to see that. I want to see the strength. I want to see them busting through huge trees. I want to see them destroying stuff, throwing people like crazy distances. I mean, I'm not saying turn it into Titanfall or anything like that, but I want to see more like robust gameplay.
You want to see one of the elites explode from a punch. That's what I wanted.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm all for that. Yeah. So I think it needs to evolve more. And so I don't know. I'm the reason I'm so excited is when I played Halo 5, even at launch, even when the game first launched, I never had real lag. I never died around corners. I never shot some dude and the bullets never hit him, and then like he appeared somewhere else on my screen and like murdered me. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm playing through the biggest game right now is Warzone, Call of Duty, and it drives me insane. Like, I like the gameplay, but there is so much wild crap, including shutdowns, getting disconnected, sitting there shooting a dude and somehow he winds up behind you and slits your throat. I'm like, what the? Just stuff happens. I'm like, I have no idea. And if every patch they break the game, every patch they break the game more and more and more. I'm like, at what point is Activision going to just give these guys the time to make a proper freaking game and leave no issues? Don't break your product. Go back to the fundamentals of where when you see somebody, you shoot the person if you have the aim for it. It drives me up the wall. And I just know from past experiences, at least with Halo 5, that the game just worked. It worked really well, and it was fun. So I just want a good, solid shooter. Into the Battle Royale part, if they want to put extra Halo-y spins on it, even doesn't have to be a Battle Royale. Just take the Warzone formula, give us the 150 Spartans on the field going crazy at once, all the vehicles flying around. Just do something crazy. I have faith that it's going to work. I have faith it's not going to be loaded with disconnects and lag and all these other problems. Because
didn't the developer say one time that the only BR that they would see in a Halo game as battle rifle or something like that?
They did say that. But I mean, obviously, they have to change with the times. They have to understand what a popular mode is, and they could put their spin on it. And if they made it free to play, it would make the game.
Yeah. So for me personally, I know I'm not getting my Battlefield. I'm a Battlefield guy. I'm not getting Battlefield until next year at the earliest. And all I have right now is like, especially because it's crossplay, and that's why I'm playing it, because I'm playing with people on console and PC. It is crossplay. I'm playing Warzone, and it's just driving me up the wall. I just want a good, solid shooter that feels great to play, and I truly believe Halo Infinite is going to deliver, and I'm not going to have to buy it. I bought it because I'm a Game Pass subscriber, so I'm just going to be able to get it, and it's such a powerful tool being able to say to all my friends, my nephews, just my wife and I mean, I don't have to buy 2 copies or anything like that. Nothing strange like that. I can just say, hey, it's in Game Pass. Play the new Halo with me. And it's that easy. It is literally that easy. It doesn't matter what generation Xbox they have, as far as like, Xbox One or the Series X. I could just say, hey, play Halo with me. It's on Game Pass. So I literally think all of my friends, they have no excuse, legit no excuse. All of them can jump in with me. So I'm super excited for this game. So it would kind of devastate me if it wasn't there at the launch of the console. That's me personally.
Yeah, I would. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to be a downer Debbie here or anything, but I would be disappointed if we didn't get Halo. Again, the safety of people come first, folks. It's just games at the end of the day. So that if they had to delay it because it just wasn't ready. Don't release a broken game. The world's eyes are on Halo Infinite, Microsoft, Xbox, and 343. They have to get this right. And I say take your time. So what I want to do is I want to move on to the next topic. First, I want to thank Kenta Wilson. Drops a $2 super chat. Thank you for your generosity. He said Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be here. Will be the showcase XSX. I don't know if it's going to be the showcase game. It's going to be one of them for sure. If it's going to be the major one, look. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, as great as the third parties are going to look and play, that's going to be the best place to play them. Microsoft's first party games have to shine the brightest.
Yep.
They have to show everyone what the first party is all about. Remember, they have access to things, and they've had all of the components to that make an Xbox Series X what it is months and months before the dev kits went out. So they've had multiple months of a head start. Their games must look best. Sir X-Man drops a $2 super chat, says 343 needs to get the best game testers out there. Oh, there's no doubt about it. I wish I was one of them. So I want to move on to the next topic. Let's do that real quick. Okay. Now we're waiting for Gaming Forte. He dropped out. I don't know if it was a power issue or PC issue, but we should have him back shortly. But let's move on to the next topic. Now, this next topic may not be the biggest story of tonight's primetime gaming, but I believe it holds the most weight, in my opinion. Now, we've talked about Project xCloud many times before on this program. We're not shy about talking about what I believe to be a game changer, not only for the Xbox, not only for Microsoft, but the industry worldwide. And with what's interesting about this particular story, and actually I'm going to bring up another slide. I should have brought this up first. And no one is talking about this. I don't know how this went past any of the major trades. I don't understand how any of the major Xbox podcasts aren't talking about this. But I want to put up this screen right here. It has been confirmed by Phil Spencer that Project xCloud is now officially included into Game Pass Ultimate, which just crossed 10 million subscribers. Now, folks, now this is a big deal. This is a much bigger deal than a simple podcast. This is a much bigger deal than me flashing this up on the screen to kind of, just put a stamp on it. This has been a major talking point for Phil Spencer, who once again has proved that the Xbox brand is going in a direction for next generation that has never been seen before. Now, folks, again, I'm going to start with Tempest Sun. I know you closed out the other topic. I have to bring you into the conversation here because you and I have talked about this numerous times and the importance of the Asian market, which of course includes Korea, which is it's apparently doing gangbusters over there. It's doing exceptionally well in Japan. Now, we have to understand the levy of what I'm saying. These are two territories that in the past have had zero Xbox presence. And to have Project xCloud launch in as many countries as it has, they just launched Xbox Game Pass in Japan. Folks, that's a big, big deal. Now, when you factor in, think about this from the bigger picture. Let's just say, for instance, you are not a console gamer, which both of these countries are not. They are mobile gamers. They play on their PCs, they play on their phones, and they play in their tablets. That's how they game. Console gaming has a very small presence in both of these countries. So if you're going to tell a consumer that, oh, PS, by the way, for $15 a month or whatever the denomination is in their country, you get 200 plus games. You get first party games day and date. Each country is going to be represented and respected in a proper manner. Japan is going to run away with Phantasy Star Online 2, which is still big there. And in Korea, they're going to have Crossfire X, which, by the way, is being built from the ground up, both on the multiplayer and the single player being made by Remedy Studios, makers of, I don't have to talk about it, but Control, which is an amazing game if you didn't play it. And for $15 a month, you don't have to own a console. You could play where you want to play. Tempest Son, how big of a deal is this when you consider they have already 10 million worldwide confirmed subscribers for Xbox Game Pass, and in a record-setting 90 million Xbox Live users? How big of a deal is adding this for free?
It's absolutely massive. And before I get into specifics, I just want to state that they said 10 million plus. Now,
Yeah,
I'm not sitting here and saying, oh, that means they're at 19 million. What I am saying is they still advertise Game Pass as 100 plus games when it's been over 200 plus games for the last like 2 years. Okay. They've been reluctant to show these numbers, and I don't know why. Close to 90 million Xbox accounts or users, Xbox Live users. Okay. So do some very, very extremely simple math. Like, I don't like how many Xbox Ones are actually out there. You know what I'm saying? You just think about it for 1 second. You have to ask yourself, well, something's not adding up here. Close to 90 million Xbox Live, users or subscribers. So it's like, so I wonder, it just makes me wonder how much more than 10 million, because they did say 10 million plus. So that's the first thing. Second of all, I can't even begin to describe how big this actually is. Not that it 100% will take off, but the potential is unbelievably massive. If you think Americans over here or Europeans, whatever, are hardcore about gaming, just read up on how unbelievably hardcore South Koreans and the Japanese culture is about their gaming. They are fanatical about it. They take it incredibly seriously, and they are going to eat this up. They are going to eat it up, especially South Korea. I think that might even be more of a market than like Japan, but Japan's going to eat it up. Look what Switch has done, because it's a portable system.
Yes,
they have absolutely kicked Sony out the door. They have. I mean, and so much less time. They've so far overwhelmingly surpassed what the PS4 has done over there, and it's because it's mobile. And if you can take any phone, any tablet, and turn that into a game system, that's essentially what they are doing. So for $15 a month, and I tell you, it's only one game away from being all the Japanese people want to do over there. It's like, so like for me, if I was Phil, I'm not Phil, obviously, he's much smarter than man than I am. But if I was him, they have a good working relationship with Bandai. Bandai, if you follow the MMO scene like I am, there's a game coming out called Blue Protocol. Everybody that just
that's all you've been talking about, PS, by the way.
Yeah. This game, for all the like YouTubers that cover MMOs and whatnot that got into the beta, they all say it's the next big thing for a plethora of different reasons. But the key thing is it's like a anime come to life. It looks like the anime style. I hear the gameplay is tight. The stuff that they're doing is just phenomenal all the way around, but it's Bandai. If Phil can come and say, listen, put this on our Xbox platform, and you're going to get it on Game Pass. So I think the potential for this game is absolutely huge. And if the Japanese market can sit there and just pick up a phone and start playing this game over there, it's going to be huge. Think of the games like Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter is massive over there. Final Fantasy.
Yes, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Take all of these games that you cannot, just quite physically cannot play on the Switch, right? But you can play it on an Xbox. If you can play it on an Xbox, you can play it on xCloud. So the potential over there is massive. I'm never going to say anything as crazy as like they could take over the Switch over there. That's just silly because Nintendo is gaming over there. It is what it is. But the power of being able to just pop $15 down and play some really key important games over there is huge. And there's a reason why they went after Crossfire X. It's like the biggest shooter in Korea. And like I said, the Korean market, they are just diehard gamers. So being able to take
people have died in these cafes.
They have. They have.
That's the truth. Wild.
That is that has happened. So these people are hardcore about their gaming over there. So being able to play Crossfire X, and that is an Xbox exclusive. That's not even like confirmed to come out for PC. That's being built from the ground up for the Xbox itself.
Correct. Yes.
So being able to
specifically
take that,
for that market, I believe, even though it's coming here, I believe it's that market. Yeah. With the Xbox Game Pass in tow is why they went. Listen, listen. Phil has been taking trips. We know of a dozen of them, and it's probably more.
Yeah.
To that region of the world, it was for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I hate doing the whole pocket watch thing, comparing numbers and yada yada. But as much money as Xbox is actually making year round on the Xbox brand, that is doing it with far less global name recognition as what Sony is with the PlayStation or Nintendo is really. They're just in less markets. They haven't breached South Korea. They haven't breached Japan yet. And there's areas like India, Africa. None of these places have Xbox gaming as it is. So being able to bring their brand to literally anywhere in the world that has a halfway decent internet connection is absolutely insane. I don't know what it's actually going to do, but the potential, when Phil says there's 2 billion gamers out there, whatever it is, I mean, that's like embellishing a little bit because, a lot of those gamers are just playing Candy Crush on their phone. There's a lot of grandmas just playing Candy Crush. You know what I'm saying?
What though? To that point, the one thing about the American culture, and again, I'm talking about America. I'm talking about Europe. I'm talking about Japan, Korea. I'm talking about America right here. Mm-hmm. This culture has zero problems subscribing to a service.
That's true. Yeah.
Now, if you think about how many Candy Crush players would have no problem being able to drop $15 a month, which is nothing. That's a couple of coffees in New York, right? A couple of coffees and a few croissants, right?
Yeah.
So what would cost you 3 cups of coffees and 3 buttered croissants in New York, right? For a month, you can get 200 plus games. Now, maybe they won't be playing Monster Hunter. Maybe they won't give a crap about Halo Infinite or Project. I keep saying Project Gotham, folks. I'm going to will that to existence. Forza Motorsport 8.
Yeah.
But they do have a lot of games that are for the casuals. There's something Dot that just came into Game Pass. Hyperdot. Yeah. That's a game that people would sit there and play for hours. For that $15 a month. And you know what? They wouldn't mind paying it because they already pay for Hulu.
Yeah.
They pay for Apple TV. They pay for Netflix. They pay for this. They pay for that. I think $15 for all those games to play on their phone and tablet where they don't have to own a console. This, my friends and folks that are listening, is the reason why Phil has been banging this drum for years. It didn't make sense then to some people. Made sense to me, but now it's all coming to fruition.
I will say one more thing, and then I'll shut up. But one thing I think they have to do for the service to truly work is they need to lock down the playability of it. And I'm not talking about the lag or anything like that or the latency. I'm talking about physically holding it in your hand, because the clip with the controller.
It's too heavy. It's too heavy for the common person. They need listen, I'm going to say this and I'll add to your point and I'll let you finish it off.
Yeah.
Phil has said on multiple occasions that they're not ready to show it, but they're working with third party to come out with something. Now, he didn't say it was going to be a Switch type console, but we know Razer is making one.
They're partners with them big time. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, see, that's just my point overall. Like I said, they're never going to replace Nintendo as the portable gaming company or anything of the sort. But there is a difference between trying to play something touchscreen or hooking like a controller contraption up to a phone versus just pulling out the Switch, or pulling out the 3DS or something like that. Nintendo's been doing it for years. They got that on lockdown. So if they can just tap into that a little bit, even if you don't have a perfect device at first, when you start playing these games on your phone or whatever, if you're into it and you find yourself playing it a lot, you will seek out that third-party peripheral that turns, whatever device you buy into a Switch, but it's not a Switch, it's an Xbox. You know what I'm saying? So
no, that's a great point. Wilmy Hood, let's bring you in on the conversation here, okay? Because I love how you attack these topics from a business point of view. Now, I'll say this. Phil has said, you know what, let me read some of his closing statements on how Project xCloud would impact Game Pass later this year. And this is directly quoted from Phil Spencer. Later this year, our cloud gaming streaming technology, Project xCloud, will come to Game Pass Ultimate so you and your friends could stream and play the games you love together on your devices. I've always believed gaming has a unique power to bring us together, and I'm proud of how our art form is introducing this new unique power to more people during a time of need. I have no doubt that we'll come through this experience stronger than ever. Stay safe, stay well. Now, again, some people must say, well, boom, that's some PR speak from the guy that likes to, they don't call him Dancing Phil Spencer. They should call him Phil Maximus Dominus, and soon, according to King of the Iron Lords, Aurelius Spencer. My question to you is simple: how big of a deal, from a marketing and a content point of view, is Project xCloud going into Ultimate Game Pass for the absolute price of free going to do for Microsoft's next generation plans?
It's a huge plus. I mean, there's just no way to downplay that. Although some people will try, I'm sure. But the only downfall I have to it is the simple fact everything I have is Apple. So, and I have Game Pass Ultimate, but I can't use Game Pass xCloud on my Apple products.
Not yet, sure. But eventually that's going to happen.
But I saw somebody in the chat earlier mention they're supposed to have a partnership with Samsung TVs.
Mm-hmm, that's correct.
That's great. All my TVs throughout my home are Samsung.
Mine too.
This will be a huge thing because in some areas, people don't have consoles. There's a lot of people out during the day. I can't use it personally in my business because what I do. That look kind of odd. Don't worry, we're in hazmat gear, but we're playing Halo on our phones. It's a huge thing for them, and they've spent millions and millions of dollars, I think he said, or maybe even more than that, to get this up and get it running. And when he says billions, that's what his intent is. And like somebody said earlier, it doesn't even matter if it's somebody playing Candy Crush. They want them in that ecosystem. They want them playing the games. And this is the best way to do it. I subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate because, I play on my Xbox, I play on my PC. So to me, it's perfect. I personally won't be able to use it as much as some people, but I have employees that are excited for it, and I've reminded them.
Those damn employees.
Yeah.
Get back to working.
Yeah. I'm like, you can't be on your phone when you're in the middle, of a cleanup. But, I know
it would be odd if someone was sitting over a crime scene playing Halo Infinite. It would be odd, interestingly odd, but odd nonetheless.
I will have photos of someone doing it next year.
I'm sure you will, and you will post them to Twitter.
I will catch one of them, playing a game on their phone during a cleanup. But I mean, some countries, like you said, some countries, really like mobile gaming. A lot of people here do as well. My wife, like I said, she's a gamer, but man, she can play the hell out of some games on her phone or her iPad. She plays more on those now than she does on console or PC, sadly. So this will hit a lot of targets, man, all at one time. Not everybody has time to sit down and play on a television or play at home. People, waiting on subways, buses, on long car trips. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah. Well, if you're on a long plane trip, if you're at the doctor's office, and there's so many ways you could use this.
And, when you get to be older, you spend a lot more time in a doctor's office, right, Boom?
Yeah, that is correct. Yes, it's true. I'm an old bastard.
It's perfect. They're hitting a huge market of people that would never go out and buy a console, and $15 a month. I mean, I honestly think I don't have to pay for my Game Pass Ultimate for another 2 years.
Yeah, me either. I'm good till at the end of 2021. 2022. I'm good too. Yeah.
Yeah, and here, sadly, in the U.S., some people don't like to believe it, but we have some of the worst internet infrastructure in the world.
We sure do.
Other countries, have much better internet, so they can run this without an issue. So I think it's a huge deal for Xbox. They should do great with it. So I'm all for it. I just can't wait for it to come to Apple.
Yeah, well, that's going to be coming soon. Cybernox, I want to bring you in, but let me just thank a few people. Philly Eagle with the outstanding and very generous $5 super chat. He says this, and it's true. I agree with him. No matter what they show, talking about Xbox, someone will complain. IJS. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe because I'm old. They will show. Saying. Okay, yeah, there you go. They will show all good games. Good is subjective. There will be more gamers than us in the chat. Yeah, no, listen. It's what they have. What they're going to be doing is going to be incredible. I'm glad I'm a part of it. But Cybernox, when you look at Xbox Game Pass in its current form, right now in its current form, the value proposition could not be even touched by anything. You can tout, PS Now, or as King, who's a very good friend of mine, which I mentioned him multiple times, calls it PS Later, because that's when you get the games. When you compare it, it's apples and oranges. And it's really nice, delicious, crispy apples compared to which, maybe the orange isn't as juicy. That's what I like to think of PS Now. The first, second, and third party deals that they have going on, for instance, we've been hearing that potentially Cyberpunk 2077, which is launching in September, will debut for the November games that are going into Xbox Game Pass. Again, rumor, folks. Right now, that's huge because they're going to be able to have a massive game that they're marketing. And like I said, I expect that you're going to see anywhere between 8 and 10 million copies sold for Cyberpunk across 3 platforms in the first 60 days. I think, and it's probably going to be more, but I'm undercutting it a little bit. When you now add Xbox Game Pass along with Project xCloud for the same $15 a month, it is now moved into a realm that is going to remain untouchable. And this is going, and remember, they're doing this before Google Stadia, because Google Stadia is shit. Nobody, you can say whatever you want about it. It's garbage, right? Amazon is lurking, Apple is lurking, but Microsoft is doing. What are your thoughts on this value proposition?
Man, this is such a game changer, I think, in my eyes. Just not for the value of Xbox Game Pass alone, but for everything that it's offering you. You got Xbox Live in there, so you can go and play your multiplayer games, no problem. The accessibility, a lot of you, everybody kind of mentioned, there's a lot of people that maybe can't afford a console, but they can afford, $15 a month. Now they'll be able to play high quality games on their existing mobile devices. You mentioned Boom, and I think Tempest as well. A lot of people, let's say, playing Candy Crush. Well, maybe they're playing Candy Crush not just to play Candy Crush and because they like that game, but maybe because there hasn't been a game on their device like a Halo that they can play now. Something, anything of that nature that now they'll be able to play. And for $15 a month, that's incredible. That's such a game changer. What Phil Spencer and what the Xbox division have been able to do, the turnaround that they've been able to do, is astonishing to me. I think xCloud is it's big, kind of like you said. It's gonna be in the Asian market. I think it might take off. It's gonna take off just because, for the mere fact, that's what they're used to over there. And Xbox, the console itself, has never taken off, but now with everyone having they don't need to buy anything. They just need to subscribe, right? And for them to subscribe 1 month and see how much you like it. They're gonna they always say 100+ games, like what Tempest said. There's over 200 games there. There's even more. And on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, you're also getting it on PC. Like you're literally going to be able to play the games on Xbox Game Pass anywhere. Literally on your console, on your PC, on your handheld device, whatever you want. It's amazing, man. And there's no way you cannot see the value and the potential that xCloud offers you.
No, absolutely. Gaming Forte, welcome back to the show, my friend. I'm glad that you're here for the what appears to going to be the last topic of tonight. I did have a Rares Everwild massive topic, but what I'm going to do, because it needs proper attention, is I'm going to bring that forward to tomorrow's prediction show. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up with two small stories. Well, it's not really small. The rare Everwild story. I have something else I'm working on. As soon as I close down this show, I'll be finishing the show for tomorrow, and we're going to be doing the top predictions. Insipid Ghost and Mr. Badbit will be joining me, and I'm going to see if I can get one other guest, maybe two, for tomorrow's prediction show. But you know what, Gaming Forte, you might not have been listening while we were talking about this.
No
but
power.
Okay, well, see, I figured as much. I figured it was something like that. So here's the thing. Phil Spencer, in an interview on Xbox.com, confirmed that Project xCloud will be added to Ultimate Game Pass for the big price of free. Now, he didn't say free, but he said it's being added. And he would have said there was an additional course. From what the interview says, there's no additional course. It's just going to be another part of Xbox Game Pass. The four of us, really went back and forth on the value proposition. And you coming from this from a business point of view, from the GameStop's point of view, how easy is it to sell Xbox Game Pass not only with 200 games? Not only first party and second party day and date, but third party marketing deals, which we've seen all of them come to Game Pass. But now you don't even need a console. You just need to pay $15 a month and you can play one of 200+ games on your phone, on your tablet, on your wherever. How big of a deal do you think this is for Xbox, but more importantly, Game Pass Ultimate?
So I am a huge component. Everybody knows I take advantage of Game Pass Ultimate because I play a lot of those games. Like I'm playing Gears Tactics right now on PC because it's in Game Pass Ultimate on PC.
Now, where were you doing that, sir? I just want people to know.
The one place Phil Spencer gave you a chance to do it on that glorious PC Master Race.
There you go. Talk about it.
But guess what? I
downloaded that too.
But guess what? I will tell people I don't understand why this game isn't on Xbox because it does have controller support. So anybody that has a gripe with it not being on an Xbox, I'm kind of with you on it. But it is available for you to play on a Xbox platform, just not the Xbox console right now. But I guarantee
that's gonna be a part of the console.
That might be something that actually gets
announced over the next couple of weeks.
Summerfest, right? Yep, I think that's going to get announced over Summerfest. But I sell pretty much with every Xbox that I sell some version of Game Pass, just because it's more of an equalizer, especially when you're talking about parents that really don't know what their kids like. And let's be honest, most parents don't know what their kids like when it comes to games and stuff like that. So it pretty much came to me. It came at me from a point where I just say, hey, look, I'm not really trying to dig into your psyche about what your kid does and doesn't like, because you should already know this. But if you don't, hey, here's a service that has over 200 to 300 games in it. Not only do you get those games, you also get Microsoft's first party games in it. And on top of that, right now they have a promotion where you can pretty much get it for $1. And I'm going to tell you right now how you can get it for literally $120 for 2 years. And I've literally done that before. Had them buy 2 years worth of Xbox Live and told them to upgrade their subscription for $1 when they got home. Pretty much everybody does it. If they don't do the 2 years, they do at least the 1 year. And like literally you get access to all these games for $66. And most people jump on that. And I haven't had one person that came back that only did like the 3-month membership and didn't want to buy another card, because it's just most people don't even realize the games they missed out on, because games are very expensive. That's the one thing that most people that play games every day realize how expensive these games can be. And it's the next best thing to a Steam sale for systems, because the games are right there for you and they're ever rotating in and out of the ecosystem so you can play them. So I think this is an amazing move. And every time the end of the month comes around, I'm always looking to see what Microsoft is adding to it. Yes, they do take games away from it, but guess what? Not Microsoft first party games. Microsoft first party games are there forever, and we can't say that for other platforms like PS Now, where those games come and go. But I think all of these services are really good services, and I think just the simple fact that if they are going to make it free to add Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to xCloud, which is something that we all been talking about for a while, that's just an even more win-win, because now you can truly tell a person, no matter what you play on, no matter what where you want to play at, no matter what your situation, you could be sitting at a recital waiting for your daughter to, get up there to start singing her head off. You can be waiting in the DMV to get your tags, because we all know Secretary of State is long as hell, especially if you ain't got the kiosk to get ahead in line. You might be waiting to get your best friend bailed out of jail, and they telling you, guess what? It's going to be about 45 minutes because he just went through processing. You never know what the situation is going to be. And Boom knows about stuff like that.
I certainly do. Yes.
So no matter what the situation is, you will always have the ability to play those games. And I think even if they say $20 for a month, what can you argue with? At that point, you're spending what, $160, $170 a year and having access to over 300 games plus Microsoft first party studios. Yes, people keep hearing the word Microsoft first party studios and they say, oh my God, Microsoft really hasn't shown anything. But yes, you're absolutely right up to this point, but there's 16 studios now. Before, we were only talking about 4
or 6, something like that. Was terrible.
2.5, really, because some of them really weren't holding their own weight. But they got 16 now, and there is a game out there for everybody, and especially when it comes to Game Pass. And not only just the games themselves, how many times have you booted up your dashboard and saw games that you had in Game Pass? Games that weren't in Game Pass that had special promotions like free DLC downloads.
Oh yeah, the perks now,
right, like Warzone, stuff like that. They have so many different opportunities that they can promote Game Pass to give you things that aren't even available in Game Pass. But hey, just because you're a member, here's an extra skin for Warzone to go over there and frag out while you're playing. Thank you for being a member of Game Pass. These are all different things they can do, and I'm just super excited to get more and more stuff that's going to come out of it, and Game Pass is going to get bigger and bigger. You can't make it no better than it is because it's already great.
Yeah, no, you also got to mention like all the third-party games. Like, can you imagine somebody just got they just got on XCloud and they can play Red Dead Redemption 2? Like, what?
They can Metro Exodus, Devil May Cry 5,
all those games, exactly.
And
I'm not sure if this will be included, but I'm sure it will. If you turn your console as a server, you can play your games that you bought as well. So
Yeah,
it's
you
like
can. You can.
you'll be literally able to play every single game you own digitally on your console on any device.
On
It's
any
like it's
device.
amazing. It's
Yeah, you know
crazy.
what? Our future generations, who's been in the chat all night, he says this, and it's pretty interesting. It really brings into perspective the value. He says, "Are you kidding me? Xbox Live, Game Pass, now XCloud. That is going to move engagement numbers. I mean, there's no doubt about it. When you again, we have to just keep reiterating the value proposition. Money spent versus what you're getting, it's unheard of. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. But I'm going to say this: as we roll into the 2-hour mark, this has been a great show. We had 4 panel members that really had a chance to sink their teeth into each one of the topics. We had over 421 people live in the chat. Of course, I want to say thank you to the very generous super chats that came in. It is truly and honestly very, very appreciated. Of course, there was one particular knucklehead that he's blocked and banned. I don't remember what his name is. Wilmy Hood. I'm not sure.
He doesn't have a name, sir.
He doesn't have a name. Why? He will remain nameless.
He who has no name.
Exactly. He's gone. But Wilmy, first of all, I want to thank you so much for guesting, dude. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. You always bring a tremendous amount of passion and logic, but more importantly, #fun to each show you're on. Do me a favor, dude. Tell everyone where they can follow you on Twitter, potentially be blocked, and also tell people about your awesome YouTube channel.
I'm trying to slow down that block button, but God, it is so hard.
You're so good at it.
26,000 now. I mean, I blocked a small country.
What are you doing? Just literally,
you
got it like auto set the block a person on keywords or something.
No, and I had a guy today. He's like, "Well, you're just blocking Sony fans." No, dude, I'm a Sony fan too. I'm a fan of gaming in general. I just block idiots, and there's so many of them on the planet.
You just like my best friend, man. He said Twitter is a much peaceful place with all the people he's got blocked.
It is so much better. You can see the people that actually matter. But it's always great to be here, Boom. Everybody can find me. Man, you can find me everywhere where you can play a game. You can find me on Xbox, Sony, Stadia, Switch, Steam, which I just saw Forte a minute ago playing Destiny 2. You can find me on Epic Store. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter. Oh my God. Even on TikTok. Can you believe that shit?
Yeah.
You can find me every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on my YouTube channel. We started using webcams last week. Me and the Forking crew. You never know what we're going to do. We're a gaming show, not like many others. The only rules and limitations we have are the ones that YouTube puts on us.
Nice. Well, I was on there a couple of weeks ago. It was a lot of fun. Very raw, very, very adult, you might say.
Yeah. Bring your children. Don't let them listen to our podcast. It says it right on the screen before you click on there. We prefer you to be
not for children.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, listen, dude, you do a great job with it, and I definitely appreciate you being on tonight. Tempest Son, why don't you do me a favor, brother? Tell everyone where they could follow you on Twitter, because you've been very active as late, potentially be assassinated by you on Xbox Live, and potentially also team up with you on something like Warzone that apparently you love and hate at the same time.
It's definitely a love-hate relationship, let me tell you. You can follow me on Twitter at The Tempest Sun, and my gamer tag is Tempest Sun. And yeah, man, come play with me. I will shoot you in the head.
Yes, listen, at least you're being honest. And you know what? His multiplayer skills are legendary, and he is really that damn good. Next up, Cybernox. Why don't you do me a favor, brother? Tell everyone where they can check you out on Twitter. Also, check you out with your YouTube channel, and why don't you share that picture with the community that you sent in the DM? That is epic,
that community
dude.
Is absolutely. How would I share that with you right here?
I looked at that for like 30 minutes, dude.
Bro, that picture is
fun.
You know what? Just
it's
just post it on Twitter. Just copy and paste it and put it on Twitter and say, "Hey guys, hey community, check this out," because it's dope.
It was done by an artist called Patrick Brown, I believe his name is. That picture is it's just like a montage like of all like video game characters.
No flags here, folks. It is simply every game character you can imagine.
Oh, it's so good. There's so many little hidden like Easter eggs within the within that piece of
It's
art.
like a Where's Waldo for gaming.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Take a look at what Scorpion is doing. That thing, I was cracking up when I saw that.
I will say Laura Croft and Drake and Ellie
that was great.
Oh, that was. And then did you see Joel looking at them? Look, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Look, the Wilmy Hood made it his screensaver. Yes, it's my screensaver as well.
Same thing.
It came out.
It's got an alien on it.
Amazing.
My favorite movie.
Yep. Well, just on Twitter, Cybernox right here on the screen. Cybernox everywhere. I've been very, very, very slow on my content on my YouTube just because of my little one.
Yeah,
he's teething now. It's tough. So. Oh man, work has been crazy too. But man, that's no excuse. I gotta come on. I gotta do some things too, you know. But hey. In the talking of Game Pass, if anybody tries to devalue Game Pass or tell you it's not a good value, tell them to look at the list of the library, the catalog, any game that they're interested in, tell them to go buy that game and then put it up against Game Pass, see who's going to win. You know, they're going to waste, if not hundreds of dollars, you know, tens, if not hundreds of dollars, while you're over there paying $10, $15 a month. The value is just there. So yeah, Cybernox everywhere, guys. It's amazing. I love being here Monday with you guys, and I can't wait for next week.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here as always. And last and in no way least, our resident GameStop ear to the ground. First of all, dude, we love you very much for what you bring to this community. You bring logic, you bring thought-provoking content. You're on multiple podcasts where even when it's getting testy, you will hockey your way in and shove someone against the boards like you have on Crossfire on Friday nights. Do me a favor, dude. Tell everyone where they can follow you on social media, but more importantly, check out all of the shows you are currently on.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. It's always a great time. Sorry, the power went out. I don't know what. Half the whole house went dead. Of course, my kids' side of the house where their rooms are. I'm expecting like these girls to start screaming.
They're coming out running.
They ain't making noise, and I'm like, what's going on? Oh, because their lights are still on. They oblivious to literally half the house going out, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? But no, man, it's been an amazing show. I did listen to. I had you guys put up on the phone, so I caught most of the stuff you guys were talking about. So that was a really, really good show. Wilmy Hood, I always appreciate you stopping by the show, man. I'm gonna put up a tweet on Twitter and a poll asking guys, what would you guys like to see Wilmy Hood wear the next time he comes on the show?
Well, hopefully one of those choices are not a thong. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, I'm gonna be respectful with this one. It's gonna be mask related. So hit me up on Twitter with some DMs or some stuff to let me know what you guys want to have the vote. We'll do like the top 4 things, and we'll see if we can get Wilmy Hood to wear it the next time he's on the show. But outside of that, man, check me out on Gaming Forte, YouTube and Twitter. Brat Podcast, Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Scumcast was 4 p.m. Saturdays. Jesus Christ, too many shows. And Crossfire on Friday nights at 7 p.m.
Yes, well, you know, again, I want to thank everybody for being here real quick as we close out. And I've already made an announcement on Twitter, but I'll say it live for the 300 plus people still watching. Tune in to Double Barrel Gaming next Tuesday for a very special Xbox Factor podcast where I will have Brad Sams from Therot.com to talk about exactly what we loved and hated for the Microsoft event this coming Thursday. That's right. Brad Sams is going to be joining Insipid Ghost, Zemi Games, and of course, Mr. Badbit and I, and we're going to be talking all about what happened during the Xbox Live event on May 7th. Brad is a big get. It's the second time he's on the show, and I cannot wait to hear what he has. And occasionally, he does drop a nugget or two regarding secrets that he may or may not know. So we'll see. And of course, I want to wish everybody a fantastic evening. Of course, be safe, be smart. You know, help your first responders out by wearing masks, wearing gloves, and of course, we will get through this together. Have a fantastic evening, everyone, and we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.